The Helldivers begin their patriotic assault upon the Hive world. Slowly yet steadily, they begin to liberate more of the Hive world. Suddenly, as if a tyrannical response to democracy, from slowly forcing the Terminid's Tarsus off the Hive world, the Gloom's oppressive spores spread to Boar Rock. Then the Terminids launch a large-scale offensive, attacking the planets of Terek and Gakrux, leading the assault as a foe that vanished suddenly from all planets across the galaxy mere weeks ago. The Rupture Strain. These deadly burrowing bugs quickly overran local SCAF defenses. The Helldivers, although ordered to liberate Oshaune at any cost, began to divert in an attempt to defend these planets. However, even with the Helldivers' help, both Gakrux and Terek quickly fell into the swarm's mandibles. Because of the diverting Helldivers, the steady liberation of Oshaune began to further slow and even began to falter. As Super Earth forces began to lose ground, the Helldivers managed to donate enough rare samples to the Democratic Space Station. The DSS began an intensive orbital bombardment, destroying countless Hive complexes, collapsing tunnels, and shaking the very Earth beneath the Helldivers' feet. With the support of the DSS, liberation began to gradually increase, even without the help of the diverted Helldivers. However, the small victory within this great battle was short-lived. As the DSS, a true testament of the power of freedom, began its bombardment, something deep within the depths of the planet's crust began to stir, with the collapsing Terminid tunnels and the heavy bombardment shaking the very crust of the planet. As the planet began to shake away the shackles of tyranny, the very shackles began to stir and come to life. From the depths of the planet, the Hive Lords emerge, rampaging and causing mass destruction and devastation across the planet, increasing the planet's resistance on the Hive world. As the bombardment began to slow, once again the Federation began to lose ground. Adding to the sputtering push to liberate the heart of the Gloom, the polymer shielding on the DSS began to degrade. With the failing Gloom shielding of the DSS and the Hive Lords on the planet, the Helldivers began to lose ground. Eventually, more Terminids, born from diabolical eggs, began to emerge, causing a spike in planetary resistance. The Helldivers did not falter, as they knew the sharp increase may slow their progress, but official analysts relayed on the Ministry of Truth approved info. This information stated that this spike in activity was a collective response to the threat of Super Earth's offensive upon the Hive world, showing proof that the Helldivers were actually winning the liberation campaign. High Command issued them a simple message: do not relent. The Hive world must be purged. During these intense events, the planet of Crimsaga came under assault from subterranean Terminids, the Rupture Strain, in an attempt to alleviate the faltering liberation on the Hive world. High Command temporarily issued the EX-49 Emancipator to all Helldivers for 24 hours. Later in the liberation, the use of the Warp Pack and then the recoilless rifle was also available for use during the purging of the Hive world. Previously, when the Hive Lords emerged, High Command issued a minor order to cull 50,000 Hive Lords. Upon swiftly completing this minor order, Terminid resistance across the planet began to falter and return to normal levels. With around-the-clock orbital support, the DSS Gloom-resistant polymer coating began to reach a critical point. If it was to remain in the Gloom, it would suffer severe damage and take weeks of repair before coming back online. Luckily, the Helldivers used the power of managed democracy and voted the DSS back to the planet of Carlea, where a new polymer coating was being reapplied. After failing to defend the planet of Terek, Gakrux, and Crimsaga, the diverted Helldivers remembered the order to liberate the Hive world at any cost, and began to once again redirect their forces to the Hive world, bolstering the Super Earth forces. With the loss of many Hive Lords, the return of many Helldivers, plus additional weekend reinforcements, and the failure of the Terminid resistant spike, the tyrannical defense of Oshaune began to further falter. Previously, the DSS was reaching a critical state with this Gloom-resistant coating. After escaping to Carlea to reapply said coating, the DSS was officially cleansed and returned to active duty. Using the power of the ballot, the Helldivers vote the DSS back to the Hive world's orbit, further bolstering their patriotic and heroic endeavors. Thanks to the DSS, the brave Helldivers, and the faltering enemies, the Hive world was nearing liberation. With this news, High Command issued more words of encouragement. Do not relent. All forces are directed to push to Oshaune. In another failed attempt to maintain their tyrannical grip over the planet, the Terminids began rapid breeding and deployment of impalers. However, this effort was in vain, as not long after the planet was on the cusp of liberation, in this last attempt, one final counterattack was sent by the tyrannical Terminids, showing even they knew of the oncoming planet's liberation and the purging of the gloom. The message from High Command: this is the final stage of the operation. Push forward. Finish the mission. The triumph over the Hive world. As the planet of Oshaune was finally liberated, High Command stated, "A great victory has been won. The mark of the gloom has been pierced. The first great hurdle towards freeing the galaxy from its shapeless menace has been cleared." With the planet purged and safe, SAF spelunking crews were deployed to map its extensive tunnels and identify any remaining E-711 reserves. Hive Lord carcasses are being butchered and transported to off-world processing and research facilities. Most importantly, 99% of all Hive lungs were destroyed, and rapidly, the gloom density in the local system was drastically reduced, showing proof this Hive world was truly the heart. No, it was a heart of the gloom, as there still remains pockets of gloom too dense to not have a nearby heart, supplying it with oppressive spores. All E-711 on the planet will be invaluable to the prosperity of each citizen. It will be studied and harvested for managed democracy. With this, we leave one more quote from High Command. While this is a monumental victory, much of the gloom yet remains to threaten freedom. More Hive worlds remain shrouded within. We will not rest until every one and their E-711 harvested. On that, we go to Coretta Kelly.
Freedom's greetings. I'm Coretta Kelly. Super Earth High Command declared the total victory of the Great Expedition, following the successful reduction of the gloom spread and the discovery of element 711 on its planets. Now, the Helldivers have been deployed to support a new, even more ambitious plan to extract E-711 and use it to secure plenty of living space for all Super Earth citizens. This plan has been named Operation Free Space. While the gloom will be allowed to continue existing, the Ministry of Defense has expressed high confidence in the Helldivers' ability to contain the amorphous space cloud. In other news, the heroic 10-year-old who turned in her own parents for dissident speech has become the youngest ever recipient of the Super Presidential Medal of Ultra Freedom. That's Liberty's latest. I'm Coretta Kelly.
Welcome back. Days of no major orders. After the liberation of the Hive world, High Command of the Helldivers began a brief rest and recovery period to prepare for their next major order. During this, some brave Helldivers continued the fight and began the liberation of Fenmire. Although a slow liberation, it slowly gained more traction, and with a catastrophic weather event that decimated automaton forces, the Helldivers were able to swiftly liberate the planet. Also, the squids attacked the planet of Sheet with the city of Hull. The campaign into the gloom has come at a grievous cost to the Federation's resources. Much of Super Earth remains in ruins. Citizens of the Federation and Super Earth itself deserve to be ignored no longer. The time has come to place humanity first. Reconstruction of York Supreme, the most spectacular, supreme, and sole surviving Yorks after the War of the Yorks, for York supremacy, has been ordered to commence post-haste. York Supreme, the last and greatest of the Yorks, will be restored to its former glory and more. Super Earth megacities are spectacular and monumental megalopoli constructed over centuries. To rapidly reconstruct one of these cities requires a massive quantity of construction materials. What is salvageable is being salvaged from the ruins. However, more is needed to supply the required material for rapid reconstruction. Large, mostly untapped reserves of limestone, iron ore, and gravel can be found on the planets of Andar and Osperoth Prime. With extraction permits approved and protections for unique biodiversity and natural wonders that exist atop these large material deposits removed, we can now begin the extraction of these materials. Helldiver, your major order, hold the planet of Andar and Osperoth Prime. Illuminate forces have been observed moving rapidly towards the planet. The squids will stop at nothing to maintain the brutal destruction they inflicted upon Liberty's heart. Hold these planets, or even better, hold the perimeter planets until extraction of sufficient materials is complete.